So we have some new details emerging from the college admissions scandal. Lori Loughlin, her husband, now facing unfavorable evidence from the government-held documents, including exchanges between the couple and the ringleader, Rick Singer. Let's go to Molly Line, live outside the courthouse once again in Boston, where there's a status hearing, I believe, taking place. Molly.
Yeah, there were two status hearings today, and one of the big pieces of news out of that status hearing is that the judge who will ultimately preside over the trial, Judge Nathaniel Gorton, does expect to break that trial up into several groups of defendants. Another big takeaway is that many of the lawyers in this case who represent various defendants are complaining about the voluminous amount of discovery that they're facing that the government has produced, including a lawyer for Donna Hino, the former University of Southern California athletic director, who says they've received more than 1.5 million emails alone. Now, some 500 pages of documents were filed, hence really, revealed to the public by the government earlier this week, including an email showing that Heinel was asked by USC to look into suspicions raised by high schools regarding some students being admitted as athletic recruits, including Lori Loughlin's daughters. The USC official wrote to Heinel that the, quote, school doesn't think either of the students are serious crew participants. Meanwhile, prosecutors allege Heinel was secretly in on the whole scam. Now, there are other documents, including an email exchange between Massimo Giannulli, and a USC admissions official in September of 2016. The official offers to flag Giannulli's daughter's application and to provide a customized tour of the campus. Giannulli, who prosecutors allege was working with the mastermind of the scheme to cheat his daughter's way into USC, replied, writing, "Thanks so much. I think we're squared away." That night, Giannulli sends an exchange to his wife, of course, Lori Loughlin, noting it's, quote, the nicest I've been at blowing off somebody. So far, 14 defendants have been sentenced, 1 coach and 13 parents. The longest sentence thus far, 6 months in prison. Now, as for the impending upcoming trials, the judge presiding today over this hearing noted that Judge Gorton expects the trials will happen this year in 2020. Connell?
All right, Molly Line battling the elements. So
wow.
Everything else up there. Thanks, Molly in Boston.
Here now is Erin Ehrlich Caro, who is an attorney, to respond to all of this, give us some insight here. One question I have is, why do we keep hearing all of these details? I mean, it seems like, isn't that poisoning the jury pool?
You would think so, but ultimately, all these attorneys in such a high-profile, high-risk case are strategizing. They want to strategize because they want to make sure that they are going to present the most advantageous case for their clients. It's probably the reason why we are also seeing that Lori Loughlin's team is suggesting, or not suggesting, they are saying that the prosecution has failed to turn over critical documents, critical evidence, critical information that would potentially exonerate her.
But are we supposed to know about these emails that are so damning?
Yes, this is all public information. This is information that goes right into the public forum. Part of the reason why you may also see in other cases, not necessarily in this one, people or lawyers attempting to not disclose certain information because you don't want it to be put out there.
So what do you think about this? Because one of their claims was that, oh, you know, we thought we were doing it the right way. We thought we were legitimately giving money to the school. And here in this email, you know, obviously the school is trying to solicit money from them, saying, you know, let me tell you how your patronage might help. And, you know, lo and behold, they say, no, we're all squared away on that front. How do you spin that?
You know, it does raise some questions about how the college admission program works. But I think that the relevant part of that email and that email exchange is that it doesn't still identify or at least isolate knowledge of using a fake athletic profile to get their daughters into school. It's perhaps inferred, perhaps it's implicit, but let's not forget what the prosecution's burden is. It's beyond the reasonable doubt. And what they're ultimately probably trying to do is piece together enough of this information, enough of these emails to create beyond the reasonable doubt that Lori Loughlin and her husband knew that what they were doing was creating this alternative fake athletic profile as a way to get their daughters into school versus just giving a legitimate, which does seem questionable in and of itself, a legitimate and slight.
I feel like you know if your kids are playing sports or not, but whatever. Okay, while you're here, we have more evidence from the autopsy of Jeffrey Epstein is pointing to homicide. This is according to forensic pathologist who was hired by the family to look into the details. Take a listen.
With hanging, when the loop comes up under the windpipe, under the mandible, there usually is not any kind of hemorrhages in the eye. With homicidal strangulation, because of the increased pressure, there are hemorrhages in the eye. That's not conclusive, but that's greater evidence of homicide than suicide.
What do you make of this?
Well, what I think was really interesting about these developments is that it raises a question as to why the government made such a quick decision to after an autopsy report that could only really be considered as ambiguous, where you have to sort of see which side of the coin you're going to fall on. Why did the government so quickly make the decision to call this a suicide when there was evidence that this could have been a homicide? Why didn't the government go the extra step to try to figure out or investigate this further so that the public, the victims, could have a clear and rational answer to what actually happened here?
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see. Erin, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.